baby. First time when we ever done it with Papa, the first time when we were little done it, we had feared so much.
When you did what?
When we killed the baby, the first time. And
You killed the babies?
Yes.
You yourself?
With Papa. Papa holding my hand, he helped me. But he told me to cut the baby's head off. But he forced me to. I couldn't.
He held your hands?
He held my hand, yes.
Like what? Show me.
So this is my hand on the knife. He put his big hand on, and he pushed my hand and then cut off the head. Like that. And then when we got older, we got more used to it. But then we understood. Then when my mom found out about it, she understood. She told me that it's wrong to do this kind of stuff. So then but then me and Gabriel had still been used to it. But then we had understood that it's wrong.
And so, what your decision is?
And in our decision, we had still a lot of fear in our head. But then when we read a book called June, it said that fear is the mind killer. So when we heard that, we thought that it was true. It was not really true. But then after, there was a man called Abraham who came to help us. He said that it is true, that fear is the mind killer. And then after, he said we had to face our fear.
Years old.
Did your mom force you to eat Sam?
Yes. There was a victim named Sam. He was 8 years old from Chicago. Or at least that's what my parents told me. Most traumatic night of my life. Like, my mom and dad were like, he's your new brother. We had dinner with him. They called it the Last Supper, and afterwards they sacrificed him. So it was my turn when I was 5, almost 6, to solely sacrifice a child, and it was Sam, the 8-year-old. We just had dinner with him. I love Sam. I'll never stop loving Sam, and I'll never betray Sam. I think that he's a big reason why I'm here today recovering, because it was such a traumatic memory that I've held on. But during that ritual, we had dinner with Sam, and I thought he was my new brother, and I was so excited because I'm like, this 8-year-old's gonna save my broken family. And after the ritual, things changed pretty quick. Roles in my family changed throughout the years. For example, my older sister started to graduate towards the cleanup role, which was my father's role. So during the exact ritual itself, my older sister wasn't there. I remember me on the right, my younger sister on the left. My mom was behind me, and she gave me a knife for my right hand, and she told me to do it to Sam. I wouldn't. I couldn't. And I thought either something really bad would happen to me or Sam would get let go. So there was a lot of communication in this ritual. My mom was saying, you have to do it, you have to do it. And like I said, she always had this sense of urgency. She was just getting so mad at me. And I thought she would take my hand and make me do it myself. And that's not what happened. She gave it to somebody else who looked very disassociated and did it themselves.
Did your mom force you to eat Sam?
Yes. That was my consequence for not sacrificing Sam. And it wasn't the first time I was fed human flesh. Thankfully, my mother cooked it. I've heard of other stories where they don't. But because it was Sam, someone who I grew an attachment to, I feel like that was me drinking the Kool-Aid or taking sips. Like, that's kind of what enabled me, or a big factor, to go into denial, because I felt so guilty. And I will say, I didn't eat any of them fully. Like, I had this thing where I would chew it up, and then when my mom wasn't looking, I would put it under a blanket or in a milk glass. She never said anything to me about it, thank God. But I feel like I did that to help alleviate some of the guilt.
Sure.
And I think it might have worked, too.
Did your mom force you?
She's one of the 20 special children.
Because I know, because she comes and they do sex to her, mostly.
Who's they? Who's they?
The teachers, the parents, the staff.
Every single teacher, or specific teachers?
No, every single, the whole school does it. The whole school, and we got our own church. Because after, as I said, we kill babies, we drink their blood, we eat them. But then after, so the social services who are in it,
Yeah.
They go to families, so they go to families. So if the families can't afford, so they get a baby, but they can't look after it. Or anything, they can't buy food, or they can't buy clothes. They can't look after it. So the families who sell their children.
Yeah.
So the social services get them. They say they get them to a foster home, but they don't. They get the babies or the children, and then they get Miss Marden, our nurse in our school. She injects the child or baby in the net just here though.
Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of Ruel. Peace and salutations to the elect, and much respect to the brothers pushing his word in the four winds of the earth. And shalom to you, few sincere sisters out there as well. Brother Ariyah coming at you with another lesson, a little quick cut here. And just goes to show you the wickedness that these Edomites do in the dark, man. Okay, I'm going to start here at Isaiah 47 and 8. It says, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come upon thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. And they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, and thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. And mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. And it says here, stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Okay, and this is ultimately speaking of America. And America is known for its witchcraft and its sorceries and enchantments, and their demonic activity and satanic rituals. Okay, so we're pretty much, America is just pretty much a big ass seance, and we're trapped inside a big ass pentagram, if you will, man. Okay, because they do satanic and wicked seances on everywhere here in Babylon the Great. And as you see in those videos, man, the things that we see in certain movies, they happen in real life, And real quick, man, the Lord showed me the left-handed side of wickedness before I came into the truth. I would say around 2009, 2010. That's when he was putting me on to like Aleister Crowley and Antoine LaVey, the Bohemian Grove, the Illuminati, the Masonic temple, and things of that nature. And 10 years later, the Lord brought me into the truth, 2020. The same exact time COVID hit, which is crazy. But yeah, the Lord showed me the wickedness first, man. I guess to know what to stay away from. And then he showed me the light shortly after, which is a period of 10 years. But, after that, he showed me the light, man. And these people here, they love to be in the dark. They love darkness. They love wickedness. Okay? They love Satan at the end of the day. And that's who their God is, Satan. All right? There's so many wicked-ass practices that are going on out here that a lot of people do not know about. Okay? And ultimately, it started, I don't want to say it started with this dude here, but a lot of practices that people are into nowadays started with this man. Back in the early 1900s, this Aleister Crowley here, man. the self-proclaimed wickedest man on the earth. Okay, and he's also called himself the Beast. Okay, and what he would do was he would be into ritualistic sex magic, sex with little boys, sex with anyone. Okay, it did say he was a pansexual. Let me see what the hell that is real quick. What is a pansexual? Right. And he was a pansexual, so that's someone that's attracted to pretty much anyone. It doesn't matter what gender they are, male or female. He probably was having sex with animals too, but he would use his sex magic because he claimed that he can gain some type of spiritual power through it. Of course, it would be spiritual power on the left-hand side. So this man was very wicked, and these are the practices that people practice today that they got from him. But it goes all the way back, to the Hamites, man. The Hamites were the ones that were heavy into satanic practices and, occult practices and, Satan worship and blood rituals and sex rituals, sex magic and things of that nature. And then, there were Israelites that got into that too. And of course, Esau pretty much took it from the Hamites. Okay, this is where Aleister Crowley got his practices from, and now people are practicing what he practiced out here, as you saw in the videos, man. All right, cutting off baby heads, eating flesh, okay, sex magic, getting their children involved and things of that nature. It shows you just how wicked these people really are, and what goes on behind their closed doors. They may live in beautiful neighborhoods, okay, with nice houses and even cut lawns and green grass, right? But the horrors that go on behind those doors, man, is crazy, okay? And that was just a little look inside of the terror that happens, on the other side of those doors, man. Okay, in the suburbs, if you will. Okay, just showing you, man, a lot of these Edomites are fucking wicked, man. They really are. So I'm not going to go read this. I just wanted to show you a picture of this fucking wicked ass Edomite here, Aleister Crowley. Going to some more scriptures. We'll get Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter, since I brought it up about these Hamites into ritualistic magic and, delving into the left-handed side wickedness here. 12th chapter, and probably start at the 8th verse. Matter of fact, I'll start at the first verse, and I'll read 1 through 6. Let me see. Is it coming up though? All right, it says, "For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. Therefore chasteneth thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance, wherein they have offended, that leaving their wickedness they may believe on thee, O Lord." Okay? Because there's, Israelites out there that are practicing similar things, learned from Hamites, man. "For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh, and the feast of blood with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that kill with their own hands souls destitute of help." Okay, and that definitely is what one of them children was talking about. A couple of them. As far as eating flesh, okay, murdering children, okay, pretty much two out of the 3 videos. That's what was being spoken of, man. Murdering children. These Edomites believe that they can get certain types of spiritual powers from killing children, man. Okay, and innocent blood, virgin blood. They probably drink it as well, man. They believe it gives them some type of powers, man. Okay, and it could, on the left-hand side, man, but it won't ever give them the righteous power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay? So this is what they deal with. This is what they seek to merge themselves with, is demonic forces, man. Okay? This is what they seek to merge themselves with. And this is what we dealing with, man. This is why the scriptures say in Ephesians, 6 and 12, man. Right here. It says, let me just get it here. Ephesians 6 and 12. Like I said, this is just a super quick cut here. 6 and 12, and it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. And if those things are going on just in, regular neighborhoods or regular suburb or suburban neighborhoods, you can imagine what these top so-called elites are doing, in their mansions or wherever they may reside, man. The wickedness that they're doing there. Okay? So what we were hearing about is something on a small scale. Just imagine, what's going on, amongst the elites, man. I was going to get that, Ephesians 6. In the blue letter, I want to go into the word principalities, and I can't bring it up, Salakia, because then it won't allow me to upload my video for some reason. So I'll just bring it out here on my phone. Okay, it's Ephesians 6 and 12. The word principalities. It's in the Greek.
Strong's G 746. Arche. Arche.
Arche. Okay, and it says basically principalities goes into of angels and demons. Okay, and this is what they deal with. They deal with these angels and demons. Let me see here. And you see here the word powers. Okay, and that word, which is
Strong's G 1849. Exousia. Exousia.
exousia. Okay, the power of choice, liberty of doing as one pleases. Okay, and it says physical and mental power, the ability or strength with which one is endued, which he either possesses or exercises, the power of authority and of right, privilege, the power of rule or government, the power of him who will and commands must be submitted by others and obeyed. Okay, authority over mankind. Yeah, and this is what these Edomites seek. Okay, the leading and more powerful among created beings, superior to man and spiritual potentates. Okay, and they deal with these spiritual powers on the left-hand side to try and gain an advantage. Okay, not knowing that it's the Lord that they're dealing with on the left-hand side. They think they're dealing with Satan, but they're really dealing with the Lord on the left-hand side. And they're all going to be surprised, like it says in Isaiah the 47th chapter, because they're going to see that these enchantments and these divinations and these seances that they continue to have are not going to help them in the day of the Lord, man. Okay? So this is what we up against, man. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. And those videos show you, okay, those were not in high places. Those were in normal places. So like I said, just imagine what's going on in those quote-unquote high places, man. Okay? So I just wanted to, shed some light on that darkness once again. Speaking from the mouth of Edomite babes. Okay? So I just wanted to bring that out real quick. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Shalom to the next one.